What's the headlines? Oh no.
I don't know. I didn't put one. Everybody, we are back. It is Taped Online's favorite podcast, favorite channel, favorite everything. We are back. You already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. You see it right there. Subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also follow us on Twitter at the March on NFL for me, at BD Williams 18 for BD. And we're back and we're doing a little bit of cornerback and quarterback. So it's the we're doing both kind of the backfields today. BD he went through and dove deep, did a deep dive into the cornerbacks, and I did one into the quarterbacks. I'm actually only covering two today though. We're looking at the first round options for the Raiders, even though they brought in Brian Hoyer. I don't know how much that really means, but it just means if they don't get one, then
you got to have Brian Hoyer when you have Jimmy Garoppolo, because Jimmy Garoppolo is going to get injured at some point this year. So you need to have a guy who can come in and start. So right?
Yeah, 37, come in there and get a couple starts, a couple losses, real quick.
Yeah,
I don't know what Brian Hoyer is going to do.
Something light. He's a QB coach. He's a QB coach.
Teach the system, right? For the
right
comes in, he can help teach the system. If they do,
right now they're all about locker room guys. Okay, great fits, cultural fits. All right, that's what they're about right now.
Yeah. So BD, a couple of news tidbits.
All right.
For some reason, the Raiders love wide receivers right now. They've met with 4 wide receivers, and they just met with another one who's actually getting some high buzz. I don't know if you heard about this, but they met with Zay Flowers, who is a slot receiver out of Boston College, which is interesting. So, I just kind of just real quickly touch on that, how the need for speed is there, but for some reason there's a need for speed in the slot. So, what do we talk about for my boy Hunter Renfrow? What do you think that means for all this slot kind of? You got Jacoby Myers, you got Zay Flowers.
Yeah, I just think that just means, having guys that can go rotate through and everyone can get into that slot position. And, because certainly like Jacoby Myers, he has the size of a guy who can maybe win on the outside. I know he hasn't done that like consistently in his career yet to this point. Jacoby Myers, he has some flashes though, but obviously like he's more most successful in manning that slot position, but rotating all these guys through most likely and getting them in there. You'd have those reps with Julian Edelman out wide. You would have those reps with Wes Welker out wide in this kind of offense, and putting their bigs inside. Like you're telling me Randy Moss never lined up in the slot like once or twice in the game. Like it happened. It happened, right? So and just having guys across the board who can step into that position. I'm guessing at this point, but it does seem redundant on the surface level. Like, have you noticed this in the past, like when you're watching this offense?
Yeah, I think a lot of it, to be honest, I think when it comes to the slot, a lot of people like to think it's a lot of short passes for them, but there's a lot of seam routes too. There's a lot of stretching the field that they like. We talk about that play goose. They run basically 4 verts if they run double goose, right? So they like to have that guy run the seams, be able to, especially with dagger too. You run the seams, convert it to a post route, whatever. Yeah, so I think that has a lot to do with it too. But it's just interesting to me. There's a lot of, Marvin Mims they met with. They met with Tyler Scott, who's another speed guy from Cincinnati. And now they're meeting with having a private visit with top 30 visit with Zay Flowers. So I know top 30 visits don't always equal out, but I just think the studying of the wide receiver position kind of should tell us something, that there is they feel like they have a hole somewhere. So
right.
All right.
I know all those guys tested pretty well. They're all pretty fast guys.
They're all under 4.4s. Yeah.
under 4'4".
But they're all smaller guys too, so they're all like
right.
They're tinier size guys, but they all run really, really good times.
You know, I used to be so like when I first started, like, you know, when I was a teenager and first started getting into the combine and all the 40s and everything like that, I'd be so high on these guys because they ran such fast times or whatever it is. But like, you know, the success rate on these smaller athletes, you know, doing well in the NFL, it seems like it just really is more reliant on like landing in the right system, you know, more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Most teams, it just seems to not work out, you know. So, but we'll see. We'll see. You know, you have to put some weight on it at the very least. You could be short, but like you'd be like 210. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, be like if you're gonna be 5'7", be like 198. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it ain't happening like that no more. It ain't happening like that. Yeah, I mean, Zay, he looks a little thicker than you know. I haven't looked up his weight, but when I was watching on film before we got here, he looked a little thicker on tape. But he's a slot guy though. That's the thing, in my opinion. I mean, he runs pretty good routes for a slot receiver. You know, he runs a mean whip route. So one of the best change directions of whip routes I've seen in a minute. So there's some potential there for sure for him to be a really good player. But it's just that take Zay Flowers though. I mean, just based on where I think he would go, based on especially with how his wide receiver class is. I mean, it's nothing special. So with him, I mean, it would just be a high draft pick, and that's kind of why it's weird to me. Like, you know, we just too many holes for them. You know, I guess scoring points is important, and you know, you need some yak guys, even though he's not really a yak guy, but I don't know.
You think Zay Flowers is going to go that high?
There's a chance.
Like, what are you saying? Like, second round pick?
Yeah, I'm thinking like second round. Yeah. I don't know if he gets to 70. He might, but
he's a beast. This guy's nasty.
Yeah, he's pretty damn good on tape. Yeah. He got me interested. I was interested. I watched like 3 games real quick. So.
All right. I'll have to watch him then.
He got invited to the East West Shrine game, and he basically went home after the first day. So it tells you, they're like, "Oh, you don't belong here." So
yeah, they're like, "Whoa, hold on now." That's pretty interesting. The Boston College, that's a tough team to dig up film on.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on Caddy. Caddy has a lot of film on him. So
all right, cool.
Yeah, that's what I was watching today. But that's what's interesting is because he's a slot guy, man. I mean, I guess he's a future slot guy, but just to have that guy who is going to be at least a day 2 receiver,
right?
You know, he has day 2. I wouldn't say he has day 1 tape, but he definitely has day 2 receiver tape. Like that's, you know, I don't see him getting out of that, dropping to the 4th round or anything like that. So that's why it's interesting that top 30 visit. They have to know that too.
All right. Hey, look. If he's a beast, all right. If he's a problem, like, yeah, let's add him. Let's go. I don't care.
You know, that's how I feel about it. He is a beast, though, man. He is a beast for sure.
All right, cool. All
right,
Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers from Boston College.
Zay Flowers. You can tell I've been focused only on defense. Okay, and defensive backfield so far. That's all my eyes have been on in this draft so far. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna hit you guys off with my top 5 corners that are coming out of college that are available for the NFL draft this year. So I'm going to do a breakdown of those guys, kind of, you know, go through that. Give some honorable mentions at the end as well. Guys, you know, that definitely caught my eye, definitely belong, you know, in the NFL for sure. But so that's what I'm going to be doing. And you mentioned that you're going to be breaking down quarterbacks, right?
Yeah, so I'm going to be doing quarterbacks, but I'm focusing on the guys that have the 2 visits with the Raiders and who have the private workouts. So that's Will Levis and Anthony Richardson. So I also think, regardless, I think those guys would probably be some of the Raiders' main targets anyways. So just based on their athletic profiles and the way they're SEC players and the competition. And then, you know, Will Levis, we'll get into that. Once you watch Will Levis, you'll be like, oh man, they're gonna like this guy. So maybe even one play I was watching a play today that when we did the Chargers versus Patriots breakdown before the season last year, they ran that same exact play at Kentucky in 2021. So that, I mean, there's a lot of things that he does to see pro ready that they're gonna like, and just from a size perspective too. Like he's 6'4", 229, and we all know how big Anthony Richardson is. He's 244, and just freak athlete. One of the probably the best with Cam Newton, Dante Culpepper as the best athletes ever.
Coming out, yeah. No, he's better than those guys. He's in another tier, bro.
Yeah, but
I mean, come on.
Yeah, from a relative athletic score thing, he tops that 10 with those two. And also, it's funny, the other guy is Vinny Testaverde, which you would never think of that.
Well, look, there's a video out there of Anthony Richardson going out like with a young fan and barefoot. He like took his cleats off or something like that on the concrete, and he does like standing up. He does a backflip. Okay, it lands on his feet. All right, so I don't know if any of those guys could have done that, especially at his height and weight, 6'4" and change, 240 something pounds, doing a backflip barefoot on concrete. Okay, name me two other people, one other person that can do something like that. I mean, come on, he'd be in the NBA at that point. Anthony Richardson is a incredible, insane. This is the most talented from a physical standpoint coming out, athletically talented, like physically talented quarterback that's ever come out we've ever seen. I mean, and also he throws the ball. You know, he's got a rocket. He's got a rocket arm, right? So he's got it all. So obviously, it's going to be question marks about other things and other areas and his accuracy. I've seen all those question marks too. I've seen him sail. I've seen all the bad passes float around. So there's plenty of question marks.
Yeah, we love to show the bad passes to him. We just don't show any of the bad plays from any other quarterbacks because to be honest, I think you're doing your top 5, but I'm just covering these guys kind of for the Raiders, but. To be honest, the way these guys, I think a lot of these guys are clumped together. There's something with every single one of these top 4 that everybody loves that you could talk yourself out of them.
Right.
Like I could talk myself out of every single one of them.
Right.
So, none of these guys are really like, I would say perfect.
There's all glaring question mark here, right?
Yeah, there's a glaring question mark where they're like Levis, his pocket presence, CJ Stroud, he doesn't handle pressure well at all. Bryce Young has the size issue, right? That's going to be an issue. Going forward, even if he adjusts, he's got to adjust to play at that size in the NFL. And Anthony Richardson, of course, there's the accuracy and mechanics issue. Is he going to be, how accurate will he be in the NFL? Is it just because he threw deep all the time? It's so there's a big question about all of these guys, and that's why it's kind of up in the air a little bit for me. These guys are kind of all crumpled up.
Right.
There's not really somebody who just separates themselves from the others, right? Like you could say Bryce Young maybe has the best tape, but it's like, does he have the best tape? There's some argument, right? And then, yeah. So, and then it comes to is accuracy, elite accuracy, that big of a deal. If you can't handle pressure well, like, are you going to be elite accurate if you can't handle pressure? And there's a lot of things that go along with these things. So it's gonna be interesting with this quarterback class. But
are you gonna be elite accurate when your receiver core isn't like 2 tiers ahead of the guys that they're playing against, all year long, except for maybe like 1 or 2 games? So that it's come on.
Yeah, because and then even with accuracy, you can make the case like, who is elite accurate in the NFL, and you're going to be like, you're going to get to some guys that aren't who you would expect to be up there, because Josh Allen doesn't have elite accuracy. Patrick Mahomes doesn't. Joe Burrow does, but you keep going, and then it's like, who does? Justin Herbert doesn't have elite accuracy. He's up and down sometimes. They're just some of your favorite quarterbacks don't have the greatest accuracy in the world. I think good accuracy is important. I just don't think it like being Kirk Cousins with the football,
right?
Because
obviously that's great. At this point,
yeah.
If you're just the guy who just operates out of the pocket, like It's essential. Like you need it. You have to. You know what I'm saying? Whereas if you can make things happen, right? Like your requirement for having great accuracy, it just comes down a little bit. You get a little leeway there. You know what I'm saying? Like you can take off and run 20 yards. You know, like
you know, I don't know. It's just something to think about. Like, because we talk about elite accuracy a lot, but I think good accuracy is, good accuracy with great pocket presence is better than a guy with bad pocket presence and elite accuracy. That's all.
All right.
That's just my look.
Well, why don't we get into it? Why don't you jump into quarterbacks first? We'll do it like that.
Okay. All right. So I want to talk about the measurables because I talked about that a lot. I went kind of in depth with that a little bit, but not too in depth. So I just want to show kind of the measurable thought process they have that, either whether you like it or not, you know what I mean? So look at the quarterback history first, you know what I'm saying? So you got Garoppolo, Stidham, Brissett, Etling, Tebow, O'Connell, Jones, Castle, right? You see a lot of SEC over here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 SEC, and a couple, NC States, a couple guys mixed in. Eastern Illinois boy, Jimmy Garoppolo standing out. But I mean, one thing you do notice here, you see a big weight thing here. So we got an average of 227 pounds. There's a lot of big dudes here, if you haven't noticed. I mean, and this is basically every guy that Josh McDaniels when he's either OC or head coach, whatever, right? So OC head coach, whatever, right? So you see the weight, you see the height. So the height's around 6'2". You got a lot of guys around 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". But the weight's a big thing because he likes guys that can take hits. Hands doesn't really size doesn't matter. Either it's 40. A lot of these things are kind of, the broad jump is kind of weird that it's all similar. It's all 907. I don't know if that's in particular. But one thing that they are sticklers on is his 3-cone. And you see there's a 3-cone average of 7.05. Now let's think about that. It's a bunch of quarterbacks that are better than DK Metcalf.
Right.
All right. I love using DK Metcalf as the barometer of good 3-cones. He kind of just made that famous, but it's just funny. All right, but yeah, you can see it's kind of like 7.05 for 3-cone. I think that's one of the most important ones for him, right? Like, what is your 3-cone? I don't know. Probably these private workouts, he's probably making these guys run 3-cones who are not running 3-cones, right? Because it's important. Because you see here, I mean, a lot of these guys didn't run 3-cones, right? Richardson, he didn't run a 3-cone either. But my man Clayton Tune did, right? Which is I think somebody to watch. Yeah. Tanner McKee, 7.22. He's somebody to watch as well. There, he's at the exact amount of 906 for a broad jump. So I think that's somebody to watch. I'll probably do another show on Tanner McKee because those are more late round guys. I don't think he's gonna go as high as people try to say he is. But check out size here. I got some of these guys who are outliers. You got Young. Basically, the cutoff is 217. I made the cutoff 217. Even Chase Garbers is 6'2", 215, if that says anything. And he's undrafted, right? So you got some of these outliers, Hall, Chorus, Bennett, Duggan, Dorian Thompson, which is interesting because he is 6'2", which I didn't know he was 6'2". That was weird. That kind of took me off guard. Jake Hayner, 207, Badgett. But, Hayner, he hits the shuttles. So does Tune. Dorian Green-Thompson has a weird shuttle. That was that 3-cone. That kind of caught me off guard. But he didn't make the 3-cone.
That just means he doesn't practice it. That's all it means.
Oh, okay. All right. But, people are going to say, they went and watched Bryce Young, right? And I understand that because he's 204, 5'10". They never drafted somebody even this small or even really looked at him. But he ran Earhart Perkins in college. Yeah. So, right, that's why they probably they try to trade up to 1. It would make sense. He's plug and play. He can technically sit behind Jimmy, even though he might be better in the offense than Jimmy Garoppolo is right now since he's been running it for 2 years. But that's why I think that they went up for him because it's a little different as an outlier. Now, CJ Stroud, that's where it gets weird. Are they going to like CJ Stroud? He didn't do any athletic testing. I don't know if Richardson did the 3-cone at his pro day. I don't think he did. But He didn't do any athletic testing. This is blank. At least Will Levis has the 34-inch vertical and the really, really nice broad jump that's really, really high. And he's got those big hands. He's 229. Richardson 244. Hooker, he couldn't do any athletic profile, but he's got a pretty good size to him as well. My sneaky guy though is Clayton Tune, man. Clayton Tune is a sneaky prospect because he just hits everything for Josh. This is like Josh's main guy. He's 6'2".
Right.
He's 220. Hits the hands. 4.64 vert, 37-inch vertical, 6.89 three cone, and that 4.25 shuttle, and a 10-inch broad jump. So I just think he's my sneaky prospect. If I have seen one before. So watch Clayton Tune. Just watch him, guys. I think that if they don't get a quarterback, I think he might be like the pick at 70 or something like that. And his tape is pretty good, man. It's not bad. It's pretty good tape for a day 2 tape. What I would say, very good developmental quarterback tape. So, but let's get into the fun guys. We talk about Will Levis, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson, who I'm definitely saying Will Levis' name right now. I'm proud of that. But let's get into that. We've been messing around a little bit too much here. Let's get into the realness, which is these quarterbacks that everybody wants to see here. All right. Can you see it? We're good?
Yeah, we're good.
All right, cool. All right. So let's start off with Mr. Richardson here. And we're going to start off with his athleticism. So we're going to get into everything that he does really well. And of course, we'll get into the accuracy, of course, right? So first things first is just, this is the most athletic quarterback on the planet, probably ever. 244, 4.40, and you could see he doesn't need to run a 3 cone because you see it on film. Him just making guys miss.
I don't know if he's quick enough. Yeah, right.
Making this guy miss, right? Making another guy swing and miss. Get to the outside, getting some yards on first down. Get 5 yards instead of losing, what is that? Let's go back on this one.
It's one of the most impressive 5-yard scrambles of all time.
Yeah, just making guys miss. It's athleticism, just pure athleticism here, guys. This is what we call athlete. He's an athlete, and so I'm not going to do too much of the pure athlete stuff and running because it's inevitable. He's a great runner. He's going to be a great runner day one. He's not going to be easy to tackle in the open field at all. This one, he's actually, going through reads first. Nothing's there. He sees an opening. Right through the B gap. This is where to tell quarterbacks to go, right through that B gap. Right? Pointing, setting up that block, cutting it up, and he's gone, pure speed. And then here's the guy trying to tackle him in the open field. Nope. You miss. And then we got another guy trying to tackle him in the open field. No, just break this tackle. Keep going.
Oh my God.
Touchdown. So yeah, that's day one. If you're a fan, you're like, oh, he's inaccurate. I think the first time this happens, I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be on board. You'll be on board soon.
It'll take one preseason game, in my opinion.
Right. Put him on ice.
One preseason game. That's all it'll take. But let's get into him playing quarterback, which I think is important. I think his deep ball is probably one of the best in the class, right? I think he has a great deep ball. He's really accurate with it. You see here off play action, right? We're getting that little Yankee concept, post, and dig route. You see the safety drop right here. He does a good job seeing the field. See the safety he's dropping, and then he sees he got this over the top. Number 3 is going to try to replace, right? But he's not going to get there on time. Good throw. Touchdown. So, this is him reading the field, too. This is I'm talking about him. This is not just, I'm going to throw it deep. You see the safety. He's pointing to get help from number 3s because he's watching the dig, right? And he drives that. As soon as he sees him drive down on that, he hits the post route. Dime. Touchdown. And then here's a dime from the backside against Georgia. This is probably one of his best throws you see on tape. Right? This is pure, and this is what happens when he has a good mechanics too. You see his feet don't touch. He's got a good base, knees bent, got the ball pretty low, got the ball pretty high, and that's one of his issues too. You see the quick release, just a flick of the wrist. Just look at the placement of that ball. This is beautiful. You just watch it one more time. This is probably one of my favorite throws on tape for him. Because just the placement. I mean, there's not a lot of room here. Not a lot of room for this throw. Dime. And then, you know, in the middle of the field, you get some anticipation in the middle of the field too. You know, and he 60% completion percentage from intermediate part of the field. This is why Josh McDaniels is going to love him. I think he's third in the class. So, I mean, that's better than C.J. Stroud. That's better than Hooker, Tanner McKee, all those guys who are considered more accurate than him. He's better than them from the intermediate part of the field. And you can see here this throw under pressure. He's got the blitz coming, right? You can see here, so I'm talking about his feet are way too close together. That's his main problem here. You see, this is not what you want to do. You don't want your feet this close, which they got to work on, but you still get a very accurate throw here under pressure. Never losing velocity while getting hit in the legs. Dime.
Beautiful.
Yak.
Wow. That was a great play.
All right, you see a backside. See how good this throw is. Backside. Right. Like I said, I'm talking about his feet are ugly, right? I'll get more in depth in a second, but it's just way too close together. You know, he's kind of standing up a little bit too much for me too as well. But you just see the arm talent, even with that. He's still accurate to the intermediate part of the field, right? And this is one of my favorite plays here. This is what I'm talking about, him just reading the field really, really well. So on this one, he's getting an out route and kind of a go route from number 4 here. And, you know, the way he reads this, right, he's going to see this guy right here drive on this football. So, you know, just from this look, right, you're thinking maybe he can go here. This safety, he's watching his eyes. So he goes and drives on this one. Richardson kind of pump fakes him a little bit, kind of fakes him out because you could just tell by his eyes. You're watching this guy's eyes. You watch this safety. He's going to drive on this ball and take a crazy decision, thinking he's going to get a pick or something. I don't know what they're thinking, but he picks wrong, and Richardson just throws it over the top of his head for a touchdown.
That's a fun one.
So he sees the field pretty damn well too. That's the thing that I really like about him is how well he sees the field. Here's another one, and we'll talk about this one too because this kind of shows a little bit of his mechanical issues and a little bit of his accuracy issues all together. But we're talking about him seeing the field right here. So, right, play action, right? He wants this post route first, right? I mean, this is where he's going with it. You can tell by his eyes, his motion, where his feet are pointed. He wants this, but he decides to turn it down, which he probably could have hit this. He probably could have with some good timing, but he decides he wants to go up here, up top. And this is how you know where he saw that, because definitely what you know he saw is this guy's flat-footed. There's no way he gets here, right? So if you go back, like, you know, there's just no way he gets to that area, right? Just because he's stopping, he's slowing down, he's trying to play this crosser, and he sees it, and he got this guy wide open, but he kind of misses the throw, right? Because I mean,
also that looks like a double move too, so he might be looking that safety off or holding that safety in the middle of the field too.
Yeah, that's a good point, right? He holds that safety, and he sees that. But then we'll go back. I mean, just because, you know, the throw, I mean, that's a miss. It is. I'm like, we ain't gonna lie, right? That's a miss. So talk about this. And so talk about his feet are just way too close together, right? So we'll see. You can watch him heel click right here. I'll kind of go back.
Yeah.
wish I could do slow motion, but you see right there. See, and it's again, and the reason why quarterback coaches, because you have to overstride to throw the football, right? And then you miss. So I mean, great read, and it's gonna be the theme of all his misses. So we're gonna get some more of these misses, but it's gonna be a theme here. It's like great read, bad throw. But first, we're gonna talk about his pocket presence before we get into that. So, which is, I think, the real reason why I really like this guy, because you cannot teach pocket presence. All right. So here's we got a free rusher here, right? 5's coming. Number 2 can't get there. Doesn't matter. Richardson just makes a miss in the pocket, slides to his left, to his left a little bit, gets out of the pocket, makes a play. So watch that one more time. There's free blitzer, What's a free blitzer? What does that even mean?
Good luck.
All right, here's another one. He's getting an all-out blitz on this one, right? Oh, I'm gonna make that guy miss, and then from a dirty pocket, I'm gonna make an unorthodox throw across my body.
Oh wow!
First down. So I mean, this is consistent. This is consistent on tape. See, free rusher, avoid it, stay in the pocket. See a guy coming open, unorthodox throw, first down. Can't teach that, guys. Can't teach it. Mm-hmm. All right, so, but we're getting to the accuracy issues here. I mean, I know this one's under pressure, but a lot of it is touch, okay? This dude has no touch at all. It's a fastball every single time, and that has a lot to do with accuracy issues too, because I still believe, you see when he puts touch on it, he has some pretty decent throws, but he's got this guy wide open. And that's what I'm talking about, reading the field, right? So he's got this guy on the seam route. You can tell, he's got this safety not even looking this way, right? And just tell by what this guy's doing. This corner's right here. I mean, BD, you can tell me what kind of coverage this is in Georgia, so I don't know they're doing the funky Nick Saban stuff here. It looks like cover 3, but I don't know if it is.
Yeah, it's cover 3.
Okay, all right. And then, but he just ends up just missing this guy. So it's like, why does he miss? Okay, you can say the pressure here, he doesn't step into this, right? But like I said, I mean, if he puts touch on this, to me, regardless, he hits this ball. But he just puts no touch on it. He just throws a fastball and he misses. Oh, here is one where, you see something that's impressive, like you're going to see some anticipation and all that good stuff here, right? Then he just throws the ball in the dirt, okay? And we're back to his feet being too close together. And then on this one, you see he's throwing this ball way before this guy's out of his break. You're seeing anticipation. It's what you like. But then since he's, overstriding, he's just all arm here. He doesn't really step into this throw and he just dirts it. I think that one ends up coming back because you'll see. I mean, it's a low throw, right? I mean, if he makes a good throw with anticipation, this guy's running with yak. I mean, he's got this ball on time. Look at his corners at, right? This is right in this guy's chest. This guy's running this way, right? And that's what you talk about with anticipation. I mean, that's what the importance of anticipation is, those type of things, right? But when you miss the throw, it doesn't matter. And it's a thing. It is, right? It's something he needs to work on. But when you watch all the other stuff, it's like, okay, I can work on this, right? I can fix this. This is all mechanics. This is a dude who never had a quarterback coach. He probably couldn't afford one. He was, like some of these other kids could, right? So,
right.
That's kind of how I look at it. And, here's another one with the touch too. And this is a mixture of everything that is great about Anthony Richardson and what's wrong with him. This is why I love this play. You're going to watch this, right? Because you're going to see the great pocket presence, great pocket movement, make a free rusher miss, finding the open guy, seeing the field well, finding the right guy to throw to, but not setting your feet and then just overthrowing him with no touch. So it's just the perfect play, in my opinion. It just sums. It's just the perfect way to sum him up. Is that play right there? Is this play right here? Right. Let me get this going. Right. It's just free rusher, makes the guy miss, goes on orthodox throw with no touch, and just misses him bad. All right. So now let's get into my boy Will Levis, which I mean, I think Levis gets a lot more hate than he should, but I also understand it. But I think he gets a little too much hate. But this guy is somebody that the Raiders are really gonna like because we're gonna watch a bunch of dig routes. You guys ready? Let's run some dig routes with velocity. So here, this is what we like. We get a choice route, right? And he's be able to come backside and hit this beeline drive route. So, and you see him. This is him going through his reads, and he has a great release when his mechanics are right. It is beautiful. So see, he's reading that. I mean, he probably could have went there, but he decides not to for whatever reason. Maybe because he's a little late. We see he comes backside. He's about to hit this dig route right there. So go back and watch it one more time. This is basically Will Levis in a nutshell. Is him hitting this digs and why we're really gonna like him over here in Vegas land because it's
right.
beeline route driving that dig. I mean, he's a little behind him there, but you talk about him trying to throw behind safeties or whatever. You see it from the backside here, and you see his quick release. He doesn't like it, and he's able to whip this ball sidearm. Quick release. A little behind, but you get the idea here. This is one of his best throws on film too. You see a little anticipation here on this one, and you really see the arm talent, right? So you see the quick bounce, quick release, comes backside, started this side, kind of move this linebacker a little bit, kind of create this room. You're gonna see this. This is full on cannon.
Wow.
Touchdown. So watch this one more time. And as I'm talking about these type of routes, man, this is the stuff the Raiders run. I mean, the Raiders run these routes. This is film of him running pro concepts, right? With the timing that they like, right? Boom. Great throw. And he's getting hit under pressure.
Beautiful.
Touchdown. And here we get another one. Hitting the dig again with velocity, under pressure, getting hit. Right? Coming back, hitting the dig, not losing velocity on the throw, getting hit. It's inevitable, guys. It's inevitable. You're just you can lie to yourselves a little bit. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not lying to myself. I watched the film. I watched this. He's getting hit, running a dig route, hitting it on the money,
right,
with great timing. You know what I mean? So I mean, there's a lot there. Some of these routes, and he be hitting on some of these. So it's pretty consistent that he's hitting these with that's these same looks. And even when you go to this part of the film here, he's getting hit again, right? And now he's running a choice route. So we're getting the choice route here that we see all the time. I mean, you can talk about maybe he can go to this dig route, but he's about to get hit again, taking a hit in the pocket, being tough in the pocket, getting taking a big hit while throwing the little out route right there. So pretty consistent with that. Him getting hit in the pocket while making tough throws. So a couple other things that, let's watch this one more time. Going through his reads there, getting that ball out while getting hit, getting a first down. Catch it from the backside. right there. Yeah, you know, if you've been watching this channel, you know McDaniels loves a guy who takes a hit in the pocket. and then this is probably one of his best throws on tape too. I really like this throw. Hitting the deep ball right there. Good throw outside. This is his first throw against Georgia. A good throw here. Right there. Good placement on the outside. Right there. Only guys can catch it. It's a great throw. So he's pretty good deep ball too. They don't throw deep for some reason, but he has a good deep ball. I think one thing we don't talk about though with Will Levis that we didn't see, and another reason why I think Josh McDaniels is gonna like him is that he is a very athletic quarterback, right? And he can do these type of things where he can do his own read. He's a tough guy too. He's gonna put his head down and just take a tackle. He's not the type of guy to kind of run away from contact, which he might get injured, but he's 230 pounds. So you kind of like this type of look of athleticism here on the quarterback draw. You can run a draw with Levis too as well, right? You see him be able to break tackles in open field, make guys miss, and be tough, right? But I think the real wrong thing with Will Levis is just some of the quarterback things is just not going to be that exciting, with like pressure and, picking up things and seeing things. It's going to be interesting. Just like this throw, this one always kind of bothered me on tape because I know this is your outlet, right? And, you got these guys coming. Looks like, this guy messes up. You have some kind of protection where you're sliding this way, right? And these guys, nobody ends up blocking him, right? Because he's picking up this blitzer, probably definitely allowing the free rusher. But Levis just doesn't feel it, right? He's never going to feel this, okay? This guy's in front of him too. This is from the right side and from the left side. It's a little different. I mean, you just check it down to this guy, man. You just throw it to your little check down. That's why it's here for, But he decides to get killed instead. There's no feeling nothing. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, to me, you got to feel that. And I know you're working this side, right? And that's fine. But I think you got to see the blitz too and understand that maybe you shouldn't be working this side. And that I got numbers down here. I can just hit this check down. But, instead, he got murdered with his helmet off. This is what pissed Tom Brady off. Stuff like that pissed Tom Brady off. Let's talk about. This one makes entirely no sense to me either. Play action. And, he doesn't throw it to this guy. I mean, he just could have just tossed it up in the air, and I feel like he kind of got some throw. But he decides not to throw it and just tucks it, and it takes a hit. I don't know. Maybe I'm nitpicking on this one. You let me know. But that guy's wide open. I feel like he could have just tossed that one to him. I don't know, BD. Am I nitpicking here? I don't. Right? These guys are coming. You just throw it to him. Right here, right?
That's the read.
Okay. All right, cool. Just make sure I'm not, we're equal opportunity. We're going to be fair here on Tape Don't Lie. All right. So let me wrap this up. A couple more plays here. This one is one I didn't like as well. We're getting another blitz, right? So we're getting not a blitz, but just a stunt, right? And I understand. I mean, you're getting 4 verts. Nothing's here, right? They're playing too high. It looks like they're playing a little kind of cover 5 kind of look too high, right? But knowing that you got cover 5, you got this option right here, man. So this linebacker's 1-on-1, and this running back just dusts him, okay? And he sees it. He's looking right at it, but he doesn't throw it to him. And just takes a sack. And he has a 25% pressure to sack ratio. You just see it there. You see the 25. You see why it's 25% sack to pressure to sack ratio, and Anthony Richardson is 4%. So you see the difference.
Yeah.
He needed to take that sack.
Gotta pull the trigger.
Yeah, especially when you could throw sidearm and throw it. With their arm talent, he could do that sidearm. At least got incompletion. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then sometimes he just has a bad time seeing the field. Like, this is just a bad decision. I don't know what he saw here. Maybe he thought he could have arm talent to fit this in. So Levis is just frustrating. He's frustrating. That's a frustrating guy. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how long I went. Well, I went pretty long there, but people want to see some quarterback breakdown. So, there's Levis and Richardson for you.
I mean, look, Raiders are going hard with, courting these guys. They're inviting them to dinner, and they're doing all the visits with them that they can, and going to all their pro days and everything like that. So yes, it's definitely essential that you're watching these guys. I think the Raiders are in on both these quarterbacks and then some for sure. I saw that you put up the Hendon Hooker breakdown up on the channel, and that's an enticing possibility. Clayton Tune, like you're saying, I think Raiders are definitely in on the quarterback market on this draft, so it's good that you broke those guys down. I mean, I did see you did show some good stuff from Will Levis, right?
Yeah,
Will Levis, right? You did show some good stuff from Will Levis. I just think that the spectacular ability to take matters into his own hands from Anthony Richardson. That's just the trump card. Yeah. That's who I want to see in silver and black. I would do a backflip, but there's possibilities, I'm sure, with other quarterbacks too. We'll see.
Yeah. I'm a big Richardson fan too. It's just like he has one main issue, right? And yeah, you can gripe on that, but I can't teach that pocket presence, man. I haven't seen pocket presence like that in a minute.
Stepping up in the pocket, yes, and I'm not going to nitpick your critiques here, okay? But some of those passes where you're saying, okay, Anthony Richardson missed, Devontae Adams is making those catches, okay? Devontae Adams comes down with those. All right. These guys at Florida, they weren't able. It was tough adjustments. I'm with you. They were tough adjustments, but maybe some NFL quality wide receivers, some superstar players are gonna come up with those, and make the quarterback look good when maybe he was a little off, or maybe it was a tough adjustment or whatever it is. You see that happen on Sundays for sure. So, but yeah, definitely footwork. Work in progress, but the things that are very difficult to teach, the reading the field, the pocket presence, he's got those things. So
yeah,
exciting prospect.
Yeah, it'd be different if he was like a one read guy, didn't see the field and was accurate like that. Yeah, that's how it is for me. All right, well, let's do these corners, man. I went do my little 20-minute segment, so let's get into it.
All right. So I'm gonna jump into the Raiders. Not doing a Raiders perspective like you did. Okay, I'm just doing my top 5. I watched a bunch of corners. I'm gonna go ahead and do my breakdown of my top 5 guys who are available, in the draft. I think I'm gonna get some flack with this one. I think that this is gonna ruffle some people's feathers. We'll see if anyone cares. We'll see if there's a niche audience. I think I'm giving myself a little bit too much credit here, but. Let's just jump into it. Let's do it. All right, so I'm going to start with number 1, and we're going to work our way down because there's no surprise here at the top. Devon Witherspoon. He's my number 1 guy, and I know that there's some question marks about his size, maybe his athletic profile. But look, the physicality that he brings and the way that he plays, way bigger than 5'11", 185 or whatever he is. That erases all those concerns for me, truly. And then when you add on top of it the extreme technique that he brings to the position, this is a breakdown film I did a breakdown I did on the channel. Him in press man, step kick, and just stay and control that rep all the way. Dominant rep in press man. He had plenty of those on film, and then you see him also from a pedal and off, which is probably the best part of his game. You just see how quickly he works those feet. He's a true technician at the position of corner, coming out on top of the physicality that he brings and he plays with. He's my number 1 guy. But there's definitely a lot of really good talent in this draft. So I'm gonna go with Christian Gonzalez. Let me talk about him. He's a guy that, while he's not as clean from a technique standpoint, just the absolute fantastic athleticism and understanding of the game that he has just really makes up for him, any kind of lapses, even when he has a quote unquote bad rep, he ends up making a fantastic play. On top of it, just his ability to find the ball down the field and to play with the ball in the air at the catch point was probably amongst the best in class at the position. To go along with his athletic profile. So really a lot of great things about Christian Gonzalez. Now, number 3, I'm going to talk about Cameron Smith. Cam Smith. Okay, he's a guy who I watched him going up against Clemson last year in 2021 at the end of the year, have a really good showing. We see him here against a Clemson receiver. He gets a little work at the top of that one, at the top of that stem. He's in press man. He's going to motor off. He's going to land the hands and ride this guy all the way down. You see, he's not panicking in the back shoulder, gets that contact key. Okay. Gets that contact key before he turns his head back, plays it in the air, doesn't panic, plays through the hands. That's a great rep in press man. Here we go. Here he is. He's going to be in cover 2 now. He's going to kind of a cover 2 look. He's got to cushion that corner route, gets underneath it, gets a pass breakup in cover 2. So we see him now on top of it playing, having some strong reps in the zone. Cam Smith. And then we see him here in off man coverage. We're going to see him in a pedal. You see his feet. They're nice and tight, great footwork from off. So we see him put together kind of a complete game. Right. Also comes over in the slot. Going to go ahead and kind of get a read on this one. Undercut this, kind of read it the entire way, get his hands on another contact key before he gets his head back and runs the route. So strong technique. I'm just going to go ahead and put this on the loop because when you go ahead and go to 2022, it's really boring. He does not get targeted very often. I think just because of the strong film that he had, you see him here just strap these SEC wide receivers, every single one of these guys against Kentucky. Did not get a single pass thrown his way this entire game. Just strap these guys. So I think Cam Smith is a guy, especially if you look at Daniel Jeremiah's breakdowns and just how often he talks about Cam Smith. Yeah, you got to go back to 2021 to kind of see the dominant film. In my opinion, on that guy. Now, my number 4 guy is Julius Brents. I think this is going to surprise some people. First and foremost, that new position that we've been talking about, Marcus, edge corner. Yeah. That's Julius Brents. Watch him here against Alabama. Come down, set the edge, take on this guard. Say, nah. I'm not getting blown out. Here, let me get in on this tackle. Last man standing. 6'2" and 3/4. I think he's around 215, 217 pounds. This is a big, strong guy at the cornerback position. Really a fantastic athlete. But let's talk about his work in coverage here. Okay, I think his best work comes in press man. We see him here against Quentin Johnson. This is a potential first-round pick. Right, at the wide receiver position. We see him here just with that length that he has, really disrupt that pass, the timing of that one. Here we go. Here's another press man rep. Yeah, this is a great battle. We went back and forth. But, you just see him here. He has the length. He has the ability, even when, he kind of gets beat off the line there to recover. People are knocking his speed, but it's the length that he has that is kind of the trump card. So the bigger you get, I think the less important fast forward he becomes. So here's another one. This time he's an off man, so or an off coverage. So not man, off zone. Let's see his footwork here. Comes off of it, reads through, gets that contact key, reads through his man, wheels around, takes advantage of the overthrow, gets an interception. Against TCU. I think that really killed their season right there. I think that was at the end of the year when they lost to Kansas State. Or I forget actually how that went actually. Anyways, top of the screen. Here we go. Press man coverage. You just see him here. He just straps guys in press man. This is an interesting one. He's gonna bail. This is what it looks like in the NFL when they bail. They bail from press. They're not gonna bail from 7 yards off like they're doing in the Pac-10, Pac-12. They're gonna bail from press. And so we see him here against Alabama. We just see, he's not targeted here, but this is a strong coverage rep. You see him here flip his head around. Once that guy gets into his blind spot. And if you're going to play it like that, you got to have a fast whip around, and you just see how quickly he whips that around with his footwork. So it's the guy who, he has some advanced technique here. And, you see him in man, you see him in zone, press man, press zone. I mean, there's a lot to work with on top of being a huge, guy with a great athletic profile. Okay. And then my number 5 guy is Joey Porter Jr. Joey Porter Jr., similarly, a guy who's great in press man. You just see him, he has the length. Even if he makes a wrong move, he has, first of all, the ability to recover, and then the length to get in on the catch point consistently. Some of the best pass breakups in press man that we've seen, this year. He really has a lot of great reps in terms of playing man coverage in this one. And again, like this length that he has, I believe it's like an 81-inch wingspan. Mm-hmm. This is a tough guy to get around when he's impressed. So I think that there's definitely, when you talk about first round corners, the premium is always going to be, can they play press man coverage? And, Joey Porter, he can do that. Certainly he can offer that early on in his career, be a guy who comes in and plays press man on the outside. This last one here going against, you just look at it. Just look at the stature of this guy. He's just towering over this wide receiver, watch his feet. He's just so fearless, so patient. He's going to land those hands, right? He's not ever panicking. He's not worrying about getting beat deep, because he is also a fast guy himself. He could, he went into the combine running 4.46, so he's not worrying about getting beat deep or anything like that. This is another similar rep here. Same guy, same route. Just put the straps on these guys in the Big Ten all year round. So those are my top 5. Before you give me any rebuttals or give me any pushback on any of that, but some of my honorable mentions, I'm going to say obviously the Maryland kid. What's his name? Deonte Banks. I think that's definitely a guy with a lot of traits, belongs in the NFL. Just, I couldn't put 3 Big Ten corners in my top 5. Two was enough, and I went with Joey Porter Jr. Like, that's basically how he didn't make the cut, but he was definitely in the running. And then Emmanuel Forbes from Mississippi State is another guy that I watch and I'm high on. I think he has a lot of NFL traits, like elite NFL traits from Emmanuel Forbes. Very skinny, 166 pounds at the combine. I think year 2 is when we'll see maybe Emmanuel Forbes make an impact in the NFL, but got to get in the weight room. Also, a lot of people were telling me to watch the Miami corner. I think his name is Stevenson.
J. Stevens, yeah.
Okay. Couldn't find any film on him, so sorry, guys. So didn't watch it. Everyone, obviously, but this is the top 5 of the guys that I did watch.
All right. Couple questions. Which one of those guys would you take at 7?
Between those guys at 7, I would have to say, like, Devon Witherspoon, Christian Gonzalez. I honestly think that would be too rich. I don't think that those guys are in the category of like Sauce Gardner. Okay. I don't think they're necessarily like as good as some of the other. Yeah, JC Horn. Yeah, right, exactly.
Entertain. Yeah, those type of guys.
They're not that. It's not there, right? That we don't have that. I think we certainly have some guys with a lot of talent, right? But I think the sweet spot, is going to be maybe second round. Get one of these guys that I talked about, maybe Banks or Julius Brents if he's available. One of those guys. That's what I'd be leaning towards.
They did have a formal visit with Brents at the combine. I know people hate me bringing up visits. I know visits like a thing. Visits don't matter. Everybody does a visit, right? But I mean, they are familiar. Yes. They're studying it up. So I think Brents is a good guy that you pointed out because he might be an option for them, and obviously,
I'm honestly surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm surprised that he's not being talked about more. I mean, like, just real quick, I'll just pull up the athletic profiles from these guys. This is Christian Gonzalez athletic profile. He's in the, he has 4 measurables that are in the 89th percentile or greater. This is athletic testing from the combine. Everyone's talking about Christian Gonzalez, such a great athlete, such a phenomenal athlete, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. This is Joey Porter Jr. He has 5 measurables in the 87th percentile or higher. So, similar threshold. A lot of really good numbers here from Joey Porter Jr. This is Julius Brents. He's got 6 in the 93rd percentile or higher. This is a phenomenal athletic profile here from Julius Brents. I mean, 99th percentile broad and wingspan. So he's got elite length, elite explosion, and 93rd percentile 3-cone. I mean, to go along with, just across the board, pretty darn good. I know that people are going to point to the 40 and be like, oh, he's slow and he's a corner. 4.53, that's the cutoff. I mean, Richard Sherman had a pretty darn good career running a slower 40 time than that, right? So, when you're big and when you also have some of the explosion that he has, Julius Brents, I wouldn't be surprised if, he goes a lot higher than people are saying. So,
yeah, I think the 40 might keep him in the third round range. So I think that's going to keep him from rising, in my opinion, because, even if we say like, yeah, he still could be a great player, even with that 40 time. I think the NFL which I think where they draft with people don't try to admit, but these guys they're measurable sticklers. I swear to God, a lot of these guys are such measurable guys. Right. That's why I could do this with the Josh McDaniels and them. Because when we get to linebacker or we get to tight end, they are a stickler with measurables. And there's a lot of guys in the NFL that are like that they won't. If you don't hit this thing or you don't hit this, the check is off. So,
yeah.
We don't know how many guys are like, if you're a corner and runner 4.5, I don't like it, So that's why I think he has a chance to kind of fall a little bit. But he's got just such big measurable guys, and that's why they take the combine so serious. That's why I think it's weird when some guys don't work out, because it literally could put you higher on somebody's board. It literally can. It can take you from some low on somebody's board to being high that you hit their measurables as a GM or whatever,
I will say this. Okay. James Bradbury, we know his history with Patrick Graham. He ran 4.5s.
Yeah.
And he was smaller than Brents. So, I'm just saying that the history, there is some history there. I think that's definitely the type of guy he maybe could be, like a really good zone corner guy who can play press and zone. Carlton Davis, James Bradbury, that kind of guy. But yeah, it seems like I'm higher on him than the consensus, though. But
yeah, you have him higher than Joey Porter, bro. I mean, it's
yeah, stand by it. There was a lot. I'll defend this. Those guys both had their fair share of like bad plays. Okay.
Yeah, because me personally, I don't want to interrupt you, but me personally, the Joey Porter one doesn't bother me because I don't think he's as good as people are saying he is.
Right.
So it didn't bother me as much, to be honest. But somebody else might be a little shocked just because of the name.
We're at an hour and 3 here, but I'll just say this about Joey Porter Jr. He gave up a lot more catches than I was anticipating. A and B. He cannot backpedal at all. There's no backpedal in his game right now. So I think that there's like some learning curves that are going to happen, especially the level of competition that he's going to see from the Big Ten up to the NFL. That's another thing.
That Purdue man was giving him. He gave a little trouble.
He gave up a lot of yards against Purdue. I went into that one thinking, he had like 4 pass breakups in this one. Oh, I think this is gonna be a great tape. And then I'm seeing like give up like 100 yards in this one. Like, hold on.
Michigan, you didn't show the Michigan 2022. You showed the 2021, I believe. But Michigan, Ronnie Bell was doing him up. That's what I was like, bro. How small is Ronnie Bell? How big are you? So that was my problem with Joey Porter. It's like, bro, you're playing the Big Ten.
Yeah. So I had to put Brents above him, honestly. Because I saw a lot more technique from Brents, a lot stronger technique from him, and better level of competition. And he's a little bigger too. So
Yeah. So, TDL, I mean, just want to say that, I mean, we are Big Ten skill player haters. Obviously, you could tell.
You can tell from the channel.
But
That's the brand,
linemen, guys.
That's the brand.
When we get to linemen, it's going to sound a whole lot better. If you're a Big Ten fan, you're going to be like, what are you guys talking about? But it's just history to me. I mean, outside Ohio State, I mean, Greg Newsome. What is Greg Newsome doing?
And I was so much lower on him than everyone. So, but I mean, look, I don't want to take a victory lap. I wish the guy would do great, and like I want all these guys to do as good as they possibly can. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. I mean, what is Jeffrey Okuda doing? Okay, what is Damon Arnett doing?
I can keep it going. Like all the IO corners, Josh Jackson and I think of a bunch of them, man.
Yeah.
A bunch of them.
It's I mean, like, look, let's not beat a dead horse here. That's all I'm saying. Joey Porter Jr. Out of all those guys that we just named, he has a phenomenal athletic profile to go along with the pedigree. So I added him in my top 5. I'm not going to just put him out the top 5. People are like, oh, you're a hater, all this stuff. So I can't do that to Joey Porter's son. Like, I grew up watching Joey Porter. I gotta put his son in the top 5. But I like him. I think he's a great athlete.
I feel it.
All right.
So we're out of here, guys. We're going on an hour. My segment was a little long, but we love quarterbacks here. I mean, that's what it's going to bring people here. So check it out. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. Make sure you become a member. You know what I'm saying? We got some good membership stuff. Whole bunch of draft stuff for the memberships. If you haven't seen that, you get full breakdowns, long breakdowns. A bunch of guys, every target for Duke Shelley. Hendon Hooker the whole game, basically versus Tennessee. Tyree Wilson the whole game. I didn't put Tyree Wilson up there, but just we got a bunch of stuff up there. So go ahead, check that out. Whole bunch of stuff you can go back through, check out all types of prospects. CJ Stroud versus a bunch of guys. We got all those prospects up there, all types of quarterback breakdowns. So make sure you go back and check up all those memberships, videos, and that's it, man. BD, you got any last thoughts out here, man?
That's it. Raider Nation. I'll let you guys.
I see it.